Here at Hampton First Assembly of God, we've got a new digital console and digital snake. Before, the old analog snake through the attic was giving us a lot of hum, a lot of noise issues. So what we've done is we've located here in the first closet on the right, we've located the amplifiers, the digital snake, and a power sequencer. In the booth, we have the ability to power this rack on and off using the Furman RS2 remote switch. The difference is really amazing because now there's not even a hiss in the speakers. Everything is super quiet. Here's our remote start. We can disable the remote start and take the key out, and it can't be started. I recommend storing one of the keys in a safe place. To power it on, we push the button and it'll power on in about 5 seconds. To power off, we push the button again. Here in the booth, we've got the Juice Goose power sequencer here on the top of the rack. That's how we're going to power on everything in the booth, from the wireless to the console to the CD player, everything except the computer systems. They're on their own deal, of course. So once everything is powered on, this is the Yamaha TF1 console. We've got two different, what they call fader banks, but we can call them layers. We've got 2 layers of faders. There are 16 faders, and there are 16 local inputs on the back of the console. We saw the digital snake in the back. It has another 16 inputs. So what we've done is we've connected all of the wireless microphones here in the booth, along with the CD player, audio from the computers, even the little phone dongle. We've connected all of that here at the board on the local inputs. We've connected all of the stage connections. There's 14 stage connections. We've connected all of those to the inputs on the digital snake. Each group is on its own layer. Input 1, if that is eliminated on the fader bank, input 1, then what we have is all of our wireless mics. You can see we've got yellow, blue, and then we've got some unknowns, but we've got red, orange, green. So we've got all of these here. And then we've got the lapel 1, the Audio-Technica handheld under that, lapel 2, the one on the bottom. And then these are unused. So we've got headroom here. If you need 4 more channels, you've got those here on the board. If we switch over to input 2, we have stage 1 all the way through stage 14, and then we've got our ambient mics just for the live stream, and then we've got an unused channel here at the end. So just to switch between the local inputs and the stage inputs is this button. And you don't have to worry about where everything was, because the board remembers where everything was when you come back to it. Our main fader right here is dedicated to whatever output we're addressing at that time. Right now we're in the mode to run sound for the main speakers for the house. So this is our main audio slider. However, over here on the side, we have auxiliary 1, auxiliary 2, auxiliary 3. We'll get some labels on these, but this is our front monitors. And you can see when I push it, it's ready to mix for the front monitors. The back monitors, number 3, is our live stream. So you can see that as I switch between the outputs, it remembers where it was on the previous output. So when none of these are blinking blue, I am mixing for the house. When I push the front monitors, now the whole mixer is dedicated, sliders and everything, for mixing for the front monitor speakers. Likewise, if I go to aux 2, every slider is dedicated to mixing for the rear monitor speakers on the stage. And if I go to aux 3, now every slider is dedicated to mixing for the live stream. I've got some additional outputs here that I can use, and I can assign those either from here or from the digital snake up there. But right now we're only using 3 of the 8 outputs. To save a scene, and what I mean by that is if I get the board the way I want it, and I want to be sure that if something changes, I can get back to that. In other words, if somebody comes in and they just move all the faders all over the place, with the old analog console, there's nothing you could do about that except maybe take a picture and try to put it back. But on the Yamaha digital console, we can go to the gear icon here at the top of the screen and save load here on the top left. You can see we haven't done anything yet, but all I have to do is put in a thumb drive right here, push save as, and I can name it. I'll typically name it, when we get done, we'll name it Bensberg Initial Setup. But you can name it Sunday morning, whatever you want to name it, and the date maybe, to make it specific. And then you'll save it, and it will load onto the thumb drive. Now, if everything gets messed up, I can go back and click on that file and click load, and it will take all the settings, slider positions, and everything, put it back the way it was in that setting. I can also record to audio to a thumb drive, and of course they've given us an old school cassette tape here, and this is my recorder, and I can just push record, I can title it, I can do all of that, and it'll save it to a thumb drive that I can then take to a computer and do anything I want to with it there. I can also play files from that thumb drive in that there. And then the other icon up here are headphones. And what this does, it allows me to decide what I monitor on my headphones. I've got many options of what I can do with my headphone jack there. Right now it's set to just monitor the main outputs, which is pretty standard. Along with all the sliders that I have here, I have 2 stereo inputs up here, and we've labeled those CD player and phone. The volume level is right here on those. You can turn them on and off just like the regular channel. And those are just some additional channels. Those are particular just to the TF1, so we like those. The touch screen, the 7-inch touch screen, is really handy because this is where you're going, we call this a fat channel. It's basically where you're going to make any adjustments to anything, fine adjustments besides just level control. So let's say I'm going to select a channel here and see it's blinking, so I've selected that channel. And let me do this. Sorry. Now, I've selected the channel, all the other ones are off. So I've selected that channel. You can see that it highlighted that channel 1 yellow mic here. You can see that I've got my gain control, 48 volt phantom power. I can inverse the phase. I can do all kinds of stuff here. But if I double click on any of it, it brings it up. So that's the EQ. So I can take off the low end here and give it a little bit more high end. I can shape the sound with this parametric EQ, make it sound nice. Now if I want to just turn it off, I can do that, and that grays everything out. But if it's green, then it's active. That's probably going to be what you're going to use the most on the fat channel, is the equalizer. On every microphone, what we typically recommend is to roll off the low end. And so we'll typically do something like that up to about 100 hertz or something like that. And sometimes you want to brighten it up a little bit, but it sounds pretty good otherwise. And so we may go to each one and roll off the low end a little bit. So, but besides that, the system sounds really good as is. Just like we can, we can go to this and we can see our gain. It'll light up here. Our gain, we can turn on our 48 volt phantom power. We can even change whether we want the input from the digital snake or from the input from the local. So we want, or USB. So we want to keep that unchanged. We can even link channels together up here. If we've got a stereo channel we want to use with a left and a right. And then here's our gain control here at the bottom. The gain control is also, you can control with this button right here. It's kind of a multi-purpose knob and button. And so that's that. And we've also got our compressor, which we don't have engaged. We can scroll up, and we've got effects and everything associated with that particular channel. Likewise, we can select the output. Right now it's the main output. We don't have any auxiliary selected, so we're on the main output. We can select it. We can add a compressor. We can do a EQ on the output just for the house. We haven't done that because it sounds really good and true the way it is, so we don't have to really shape that at all. But you can do all of that on any of the monitor mixes. If your monitors are too bassy, I can go to the rear monitors, select the output, and adjust the main EQ for that monitor so that everything that goes to that monitor has the bass rolled off a little bit. But other than that, it's a pretty intuitive console. Everything in the console is pretty much streamlined and designed so that it folds all of the complicated settings under the hood, basically, or inside the fat channel, which leaves us with nothing but on, off, and volume. And the main thing to remember when you're operating on a Sunday is that I've got two fader banks. The first fader bank is local, which is wireless and media. Second fader bank is the digital snake, which is all of our stage connections. Likewise, we have to remember that whatever is pushed over here is what the mixer is dedicated to. Front monitors, the entire mixer. I'm mixing now for just the front monitors, level controls in the front monitors. Rear monitors, live stream, I push it again to turn them off, and now I'm mixing for the house again. Any questions? You can email jerry@bensberg.tech or call us at 870-814-0714.